dipping their fingers in this paint. They're watching how it dripped, check out the viscosity. They're smelling it. And what the hell are these guys doing? They're crazy, right? I mean, who really cares that much about paint? These guys were so into it. What struck me the most, though, was at the end of the session when they revealed our scorecards and showed them to us. All 12 of us, no matter if we were a basic DIY guy or a technical paint guy, all 12 of us picked Accolade as the #1 product and had that scored as the best product. It was incredible. The second product was the old formulation of Accolade, believe it or not. So it's a tremendous product. Again, it covers great, and the test was eye-opening for us. So when you're going to sell Accolade, how do you guys sell Accolade? How would you sell Accolade as opposed to Best Look? Best Look's always going to be your go-to. Best Look makes up 70% of all the paint business coming out of Do It Best. But that doesn't mean we can't grow Accolade business, and we should be growing Accolade. How do we sell Accolade?
Going to end up buying less per gallon for the less expensive paint, and it's going to last longer on the walls, the longevity of it.
Absolutely. What's that?
Asking for 11 kids, and it will cover that and be more durable.
Yep.
For them. That's a selling point.
Yep.
Also.
So as a DIYer, what's the most important? What do you think the most important thing for a DIYer when they're painting is? Time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what saves you time when you're painting?
Ease of application.
Ease of application and coverage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when a customer comes in, and I challenge you guys, and Rob will hold you guys accountable for this, and I'll have Rob and April hold you guys accountable. When a customer comes in and they're looking for paint and they have their color picked out, the first question I want you to ask them is, do you want the product that's going to cover the best? Just by asking that question, I guarantee you'll grow your Accolade business by 15%. Just by asking that question. Not everybody's going to grow with Accolade, but if you ask that question, do you want the product that's going to cover the best? And they say yes, no questions asked, you already have that narrowed down into that little segment, right?
This may be an out-of-turn question, but how about the other end of that spectrum, which is how easy does it clean up?
Yeah.
One of the things about paint is if it's got an oil base, I know immediately I'm going to have
Yep.
that time. I'm going to probably have to dispose of my rollers. I'm doubtful I'm going to use them again or whatever. But even at the other end of the closing of that sale concept would be also this paint is so easy to clean up. Or is there something
All of your-
there?
All of your interior paint is latex, is water-based, so it's all going to be easy to clean up.
Okay.
The only thing that you guys carry out there that is a little bit tough to clean up are some of your exterior stains are oil-based, and they're a little bit tougher, but still, you can wash out your brushes, and there's different brushes for that, and we'll talk about that. But all your paint is latex-based, so it should be soap and water cleanup should be pretty easy.
Okay.
But going back to it, ask that question: do you want the products going to cover the best? I was doing an event at a store in West Virginia, and it's not the most affluent area, and they brought an Accolade, and they said, we just can't sell it. So I was down there on a Saturday. They were having a grand reopening, or it was an anniversary sale. It was the 80th anniversary sale. And I said, I guarantee you we sell 40 gallons of Accolade today. Yeah, no way, no way. We sold easy 40 gallons.
Where were you for our grand opening, bro?
just by asking that question.
Yeah.
Do you want the products to cover the best? And a lot of times Accolade is on sale at the same time as Best Look, so price still doesn't even come into it. You just ask, want the products to cover the best? They said yes. Didn't even ask questions. I went over and mixed it in Accolade for them. It's as simple as that, right? So when you go to Home Depot and Lowe's, a lot of times we talked about all the colors they have. There's different paints they have for different colors there. Once you pick that color, they don't even ask. They just make it in that paint, right? So it's the same thing. You don't want to give them too many options because for me, I'm a cheap son of a gun. If somebody gives me options, I want to go with the cheap end, right?
Right.
So just ask them. Coverage is so important. Coverage is important. That's what consumers are looking for. And I'll tell you about coverage. And we showed you that board. What do we do with it? You guys can pass this around if you want. But that board, when my wife and I moved into our house in December of 2010. So a little over 8 years ago. And when we moved into our house, we did a room at a time. Started remodeling a little bit. Last room in the house to do was the family room. So about 5 years ago, we're getting ready to paint that, redo that family room, put some new flooring in there. Now, once you paint it, it's not huge. It's maybe 400 square feet. It's not a big room. And when I went to paint that, there's a new product on the market from Kills at Home Depot called Kills 330. It's a professional product. And I wanted to try that to see how it compared to our professional products. It took me 5.5 gallons
Oh, wow.
to paint that back room. And not only did it take me 5.5 gallons, it took me all day. I was so upset. I was wearing half the paint. It was terrible, right? So for me, time is money. I'm on the road quite a bit, and when I'm home on the weekends, the last thing I want to do is paint. Now, my wife would like to think that I care to paint every weekend, but the last thing I want to do is paint. So I want something that's going to save me time and save me effort, and save me money because I'm cheap. So that paint was $20 a gallon, so I ended up needing 6 gallons. So it was $120. Just repainted that room about a year ago. When I repainted that room, I used Accolade. I could have got away with 1 gallon. I used about 1.5 gallons. So I used 2 gallons and got on sale for $40. So it cost me $80. So it saved me a ton of money. And not only that, I painted that room in about 2.5 hours. It saved me a ton of time.
What was the difference with painting with the Kills product compared to that? Was it the absorption?
Yeah.
Was it not primed right?
It didn't hide. It didn't cover. Viscosity was a lot worse, so it was a lot thinner. I put 3 coats on, and still after that third coat, you can still see little spots that didn't cover. I mean, it makes that big of a difference. It makes that big of a difference. Applicator makes a huge difference too, and we'll talk about that.
So it was covered.
Yeah, it was absolutely coverage. I mean, like I said, I was wearing half the paint, it splattering everywhere, and the Accolade didn't splatter one bit. So, applicator makes a huge difference, and we'll talk about the different applicators when we get a little bit farther. But that's Accolade. So to get a little technical with it, you guys have 3 sheens out there. You don't have the 4th, and we'll make sure you get the 4th. We'll talk about that. So you guys have flat, satin, and semi-gloss out there. There's actually an eggshell that they call Velvet, which is their most popular sheen. We'll make sure that we get that for you. But it's four tint bases, okay? You have a bright white, a pastel, a deep, and a neutral. So those are your 4 tint bases in Accolade. Now don't worry, because the computer's going to tell you what tint base to use. So don't worry, just make sure that when you go into tint it, you're grabbing the right tint base. But there's a reason there's different tint bases. So I'm going to ask you, what's your name again right here? Jean. She's got her name tag on. Everybody else have that? That was one of my pet peeves when I ran a store with name tags. How much paint does it say is in there?
It is here, 124 cold ounces.
Okay. Now that is your bright white. Pastel, how many ounces does it say is in this one?
120.
120 ounces. Your deep, how many does it say is in there?
116.
And your neutral,
That's 116.
116.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of shows you right there, this is going to be for your lighter colors, and as you get farther down, those are going to be for your darker colors. So this has to be able to accept more tint than the lighter colors. Okay, so all your deeper colors are going to be in these deeper bases. Also, I'm going to ask you to read something else real fast. What does that say right there?
It says maybe tinted before use.
May be tinted before use. So this one can be used as a white, but it's also a tint base. So if somebody's looking for a white, you're going to get them a bright white base. Now, what does it say on this one in that same spot?
Must be tinted before use.
Must be tinted before use. So you have to make sure that customers, if they need a white, they're not just grabbing this and going, because they're just going to be putting milk out the wall. Okay?
So does that go, Matt, I'm sorry, does that go for all lines? The bright white is always able to be used as a base on its own?
We'll talk about that when we get together.
Okay.
We'll go through that with you at the other line. But if somebody's looking for a white in Accolade, you're going to put them in the bright white. all the information that you need really is on this can. But if you look here, it says stain and scrub resistance. This is the most durable paint. What's, you know, so how long does it take if I put paint on the wall? How long does it take to fully cure it before you can actually bear down the scrub on that paint? Just guess.
48 hours.
48 hours, would you say?
2 to 4 hours.
48, what else? Week? 30 days.
Really.
30 days is how long it takes a paint to cure on a wall, which is crazy. But this paint is so durable. I watched a guy one time, he brought in, he had a newspaper that he had painted an Accolade on, and this was from the day before because it had the date on the newspaper, and he took lipstick, marker, all this stuff, and put it on that Accolade and scrubbed it with like a scouring pad, and that stuff came right off, and it didn't tear up the newspaper. And that was after 1 day. Durable paint. Okay? So the difference between the high-end paint and the lower-end paint is the materials they use in it. So they use higher-end solids, they use higher-end raw materials in that, and that's what makes these products cover better. So products that don't cover as well, they're using inferior stuff to make that product. For example, titanium dioxide is what gives, and we'll get a little technical. Titanium dioxide is what gives paint its hiding power. Okay, so the higher end paints use nicer, higher grades of titanium dioxide than the lower end paints. Now, also when you talk about the solids which make it adhere to the wall, you're using higher end on here than you are on the lower end stuff. So a lot of the lower end stuff will use stuff like clay as their solids in there. But clay is what? It's mud, right?
Yeah.
So if you go outside later today, say it rains, and you walk out there in your boots and you step in the mud, what happens? The mud sticks to your boot, right? So it sticks real well, but once it dries, what happens?
It's like, oh,
Same thing. So when we're using clay and other fillers in the cheaper paint, it's not as durable because it cracks and it doesn't hold up, just like higher end solids do. So Accolade, you carry 4 sheens: flat, velvet, satin, semi-gloss. Okay. Any questions on Accolade? No?
I've got a question.
Sure.
You said it takes 30 days for paint to cure on the wall.
Yes.
Now, are you speaking of the other paints? You're not speaking
All
about
paints.
all paints?
All paints are about 30 days to cure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you
That just means scrubbing. So
Okay.
going bearing down and scrubbing it. Now, most people aren't going to bear down, scrub, or wash their walls within 30 days. My wife's a clean freak. I feel like we live in a hospital sometimes. She only cleans her walls every 6 months.
Mhm.
But a lot of people are. I mean, there's my Amish community. So I have a lot of Amish in Central Ohio, where I'm at, and they use a ton of this product because it's super durable, and they're burning coal and wood in their houses, so they have to be able to have something that's going to be durable and scrub up, or else they're painting every 2-3 months. So they need something that's going to hold up.
So 30 days for this also if you
Yeah.
want to scrub.
Yes, correct.
Full
Gene's in the full blown midst of a remodel right now, so
Are you
you're
really?
gonna get a whole
Yeah.
bunch of questions out of Gene.
We're shooting for the end of February.
Okay.
So we've had to gut the whole kitchen, the whole bathroom, the upstairs. I mean, it was structured.
Was it your idea?
Yes and no.
Okay.
We've been talking about this for years, and we finally were able to do it.
Good.
We didn't know what we were getting into.
Yeah.
Once we cracked the egg open, it's like, so I've been out of my house for 10 months.
Wow. So you're fully out of the house.
I'm fully out. Yeah. I'm
Wow.
Yeah. I'm ready to go home.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
30 days, Gene. It takes 30 days to cure, so you got another 30 days.
Yeah, right.
Don't you lie to me.
Next day I'll be dry now.
We did our kitchen a few years back, and we did it 1 week. In 1 week, me and my father-in-law did it. I took a week vacation. We gutted the kitchen down to the studs, and put the plumbing